can work something out, all right?
Jesus Christ!
It is interesting that I've made quite the case for 1440p on consoles, whether we're talking about the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, or the Xbox One X, or by some miracle, they won't at this point. It would completely take me by surprise if Sony went back and added 1440p to at least the PlayStation 4 Pro. That would be great. That would be excellent, and Sony, hell, you know, do it. If you've even thought about it a little bit, just maybe do it, you know. But here I am now talking about 4K and playing some of these games, especially the PlayStation exclusives in 4K, and having that experience. It's definitely interesting for me and a pretty big change. This video is more for, I think, those that might be on the fence, those that were a lot like me and haven't really changed from a resolution or a TV for a very long time. The last time I bought a new TV was like 2008, 2009. TVs just really aren't my thing anymore. And I think it was when, and I may be mistaken, but it was like 2008, 2009 when Samsung had their Red Touch of color TVs. Like that was like the hot new shit. Like everyone had to have one of those. Not quite the same color depth or black levels as like the Pioneer stuff. You were going to spend upwards of, you know, $3,500 to like $6,000 or something to get one of those. And for those that could afford it, they were definitely well worth it. I seen one for myself, and even today most TVs still can't match their color depth or black levels. You know, you got the LG stuff out there, and some of the stuff it seems like Sony is doing is really good, but for the most part, those Pioneer TVs are, you know, still top tier in a lot of ways. So it's important to keep in mind that I'm still, even now after experiencing some of these games, not the biggest resolution guy. I'm definitely more of a frame rate or responsiveness guy. And just so we're clear, for my PC guys listening, I would still rather play these games on a really good monitor as opposed to a TV, even though the LG C10 is absolutely amazing. And I knew if I was going to do it, I was going to do it right. I wanted to play a lot of the better Sony exclusives and one or two of the better multi-platform games. Take Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. That game looks absolutely incredible on the LG C10, as well as I'm sure many other TVs at this point. And it's just an awesome looking game, period. Whether you're playing on PC, on a monitor, or, you know, one of these better TVs, Red Dead Redemption is just, it's on a whole other level of awesome. Games that have a lot of attention to detail or really great texture work. And I think Sony, they are one of the best, period. They are one of the best at mastering a disc and just understanding overall image quality and how to make something look good, because even though some of these games may be fake 4K or checkerboarded, they still look incredible. And I think that's just because Sony understands how to do what they've always done. I want to also be clear that I'm not trying to keep anybody from, you know, getting a new PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X, or if you've already bought one, hey, if you're comfortable with your current set, whether it's 720p, 1080p, and those are really old, or your 4K set, maybe you've already made that leap to 4K, but it was one of the earlier models or something, and you're still having a great time playing these games, and you still think these games look absolutely incredible on those TVs, then don't worry about anything that I'm saying. Click off of this video. I completely understand. But now that I've had a chance to experience some of this and take it all in, experience the 4K resolution on, you know, one of the better TVs that you can get right now, it's something. It is really something. And I don't want to say that I wish I had made the jump sooner, because, you know, if I had done that, then I would be really salty that you have stuff like the C9 out there or the C10, and then you're going to eventually have, you know, the C11 or C12, whatever LG decides to call it. And it seems like Sony does have one of the better TVs out there as well. Maybe they even have a couple. Is Samsung still doing their thing, or are they still like extremely relevant, or are people buying their TVs in droves the same way they used to? Someone can let me know in the comments section. Again, I've been out of the TV game for quite some time, but seeing these games, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2, we talked about that many, many times, whether we're talking about the console version or the PC version. But Uncharted 4, that is one that you must see. Lost Legacy, definitely the same thing. The Last of Us, and this is something really simple, but probably also only something that I would get excited about. But when the game is loading and you see that black screen, and in the lower left-hand corner, there's that gold dust or yellow dust, whatever it's supposed to be, in that lower left-hand corner. But if that wasn't there, the color depth and the black levels on this thing are so good, I wouldn't even know the TV was on if that dust wasn't there. That's how awesome some of these TVs can be at this point in 2020. At this point right now, since I've played stuff like Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PlayStation 4 Pro, Uncharted 4, Uncharted Lost Legacy, Last of Us Remastered. I do have Spider-Man, but I've yet to make that leap. I will at some point. We will get to Spider-Man, and there will possibly even be a review for that. I do have The Last of Us 2, and we will play that. That is definitely one game I want to play, and one game that we will break down and we will review on this channel. I think it's an absolute must that I review that game. But I think right now my favorite game to see on the LG C10 is God of War. And that game, I thought it looked great in 1080p, but seeing it like this, I wouldn't want to go back to anything that wasn't 1440p, I'll tell you that. So whether it's 4K or 1440p, the game looks absolutely incredible. I think the same way I felt about God of War 3 on the PlayStation 3, this is Sony's best exclusive this generation in a lot of ways, in my opinion. And I think visually speaking, it's doing things that a lot of the other games aren't doing from Sony. But Sony, again, they just understand mastering a disc, mastering an image, and they've just done incredible things with their first party games, and definitely they should be praised for that, and not like a ridiculous amount of praise, but just enough to say, hey, Sony, thank you, you're doing a really great job, these games look incredible. And I guess this leaves us with, or brings us to, one or two questions like, could I go back and play these games at 720p or 1080p if I absolutely had to? I really, really, really wouldn't want to, but yeah, I could still do that because Sony just does such a great job, again, with their image quality that I could still experience these games. If it was the only way to experience them, then yeah, I feel like I could. I wouldn't want to. I would be upset about it. I would feel sad in some weird, tech head way that I had to go back and play in 720p or 1080p. But yeah, I feel like I could. And it would be great to get these, some new version, or these games received even more patches to get them to 60 FPS, native 4K on the PlayStation 5. That would be great, Sony. I don't really want to buy these games again, but if you're going to do that, then some of them I would buy again. To wrap all of this up, in conclusion, what we have here is my 4K experience has been awesome. I really like the new TV. I like playing the games in 4K and just, the color depth and, black levels of some of this stuff. It's almost like, in some ways, I don't want to say it's a whole new game the same way that 60 FPS is to video games, or even higher than 60 FPS, but it's still awesome and a very worthy upgrade. But to tell you the truth, I wouldn't even have this TV if I wasn't already saving money for something else entirely. It had nothing to do with video games, nothing to do with tech, and I was completely screwed over on that deal, and this is what we're left with. My irresponsibility of just going out and spending money on new TVs after 10 plus years of not doing so. So whether you're talking about the games or amazing, 4K movies, Blue Planet, Planet Earth, those things look absolutely amazing. You have to see it for yourself. If you're going to show off your TV, check out the Blue Planet stuff or the Planet Earth. I was telling people that Planet Earth 2 looks better than real life. That's, quite the over-exaggeration, to be sure, but I'm being serious at the same time. Like, I can't believe the level of detail, the overall image quality of those discs, the cameras that they used. It's even going back to the original Planet Earth on Blu-ray, I was completely, mind blown with that stuff. But now seeing it again in 4K has been a real treat, and definitely something you should see for yourself. If you want to watch anything at all in 4K and maybe you're just kind of on the fence with nature stuff, you're not, super into it, maybe give it a go. And if you're not feeling it, hey, return it to Best Buy or Amazon or whatever it is, do that. But you got to see it for yourself. You got to see what I'm talking about. These movies, awesome, period. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I can't put it into words how much I appreciate it. The support has been awesome. The last couple of videos, 1440p on the PlayStation 5, we will continue to talk about that stuff as well as 4K. But as far as the 1440p stuff, it's really up to Sony at this point. There's only so many times you can beat that dead horse. But if something relevant comes up or I think of something else, then we'll talk more about 1440p on the consoles. But for now, the support has been great, and if this video does just as well, or even if it doesn't, I'm still going to talk about these topics. Thank you guys again, and there will be a review for one of these Sony exclusives in the near future. Look out for that. Thanks again. You guys take care. Peace.